All right, now the markets are up and they're up big. The Dow is up 500 points, well over 40,000. And that's due to a bevy of reports this morning. First off, we had Walmart report their earnings and they beat on sales. They raised their outlook and their revenue actually grew almost 5% year over year. Now, this actually may seem like good news on the surface, but the better Walmart does, this is actually very telling because that means more U.S. consumers are trading down. That means more people are having to shop at Walmart because they don't have the finances to shop elsewhere. But the street likes that news, and Walmart stock is up nearly 7%. Now, we also had retail sales come in, and that number was actually way above expectations. And in fact, retail sales had the strongest month-over-month performance in more than a year. Actually, since January 2023. And that was 0.1% month over month. Now, despite the headline numbers, we had the prior month revised, and that's the 8th month of a revision downward in the last 12 months. So the government actually comes out with a great number, and then a month later changes that number, and it's really not so hot. Now, we also had the New York Empire Manufacturing Survey come out, and manufacturing activity actually declined. The new order index actually fell almost 7 points, and shipments were flat. And this is no surprise. This is actually a carbon copy of the last manufacturing index out of New York. Now, we also had the Philly Fed manufacturing index, and that manufacturing activity actually softened in the month of August. And this index actually fell into negative territory for the first time since January, and new orders and shipments fell. They declined. So this is a turnaround. For the Philly manufacturing area, as it's been the only bright spot in manufacturing throughout the nation. And it looks like they're now souring. Now, we had earnings last night from the company Cisco, and they announced they're going to be laying off 5,500 workers. And the layoffs, they continue, folks. Now, we also had John Deere report their earnings this morning, and it was an absolute bloodbath. Falling sales, revenue fell by 17%, net income fell by 40%, and they actually expect sales to fall 10 to 15% more than they forecast for this fiscal year. Now, regardless of that bad news, John Deere is actually up by 7.5%. Now, to go along with that, they announced they're going to be laying off even more workers than what they have previously announced. Now, so far, no word on how many. Now, we had the weekly jobless claims come in, and they actually fell by 7,000 to 227,000. Now, that's the lowest since the second week of July, about a month ago. Now, continuing claims, they're at 1.86 million, and they've fallen a bit. But regardless, the job cut announcements, they continue. So, although this number's heading in the right direction, it's not yet time to wave the white flag. Now, the bottom line, the takeaway is manufacturing continues to slow in the U.S. The job cut announcements, they continue, and it looks more and more likely that the Fed is going to cut interest rates. And for right now, that's going to continue to push this market higher. Now, over to commodities, because they've had a big day. Oil is up, inching back near $80 a barrel. Gold and silver, they're up. Precious metals up across the board. Lumber, it's up, currently 0.5%. Orange juice futures up more than 3%, along with coffee up more than 1%. And these two commodities, they're not budging, they're not going down. And the higher they stay in price in the futures market, the more you're going to pay as a consumer. Now, we also have milk, and this is just shy of a 52-week high, currently up 3.5% today. And you're going to have nowhere to turn to other than water if you want to consider a beverage to drink for breakfast. And we're going to have a few more big household names report their earnings this evening. And this market's big and green, and it's going to stay that way. This quick stock market commentary, please like and subscribe.